It was a combination of shocking and awe-inspiring. Kind of, it's incredible that some people can process these incredibly abstract concepts so gracefully. Anyways, I realized I was going to be a mediocre theoretical physicist, and mediocre theoretical physicists make no progress. So that's why I decided to give that one up in the end.
I like that quote. They spend all their time understanding other people's progress.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I feel like that applies to me as well.
Come on, let's delve into that.
But you know, when you're surrounded by individuals who are talented, you do, in the end, you end up jumping into their slipstream. You know? I've been riding Chris McCartney and Sona Rapani's slipstream for the last 4 years, 5 years.
I don't know, maybe we've been riding yours, Rob.
I don't know about that.
Well, he, gives up the idea of being a theoretical physicist, goes to computer science, ends up working in finance. He's got this, fast track year that is tremendous. And he said, nothing is growing that fast. There's got to be something here. So he had this idea.
As a young boy, I'd been a garage inventor. I'd invented an automatic gate closer out of cement-filled tires, a solar cooker that didn't work very well out of an umbrella and aluminum foil, baking pan alarms to entrap my siblings. I'd always wanted to be an inventor, and she wanted me to follow my passion. I was working at a financial firm in New York City with a bunch of very smart people, and I had a brilliant boss I much admired, and told him I was going to start a company selling books on the internet. He took me on a long walk in Central Park, listened carefully to me, and finally said, "That sounds like a really good idea, but it would be an even better idea for someone who didn't already have a good job."
Which I love that last bit.
Everybody, discouraging him?
Well, discouraging in the way that everybody urges that you take the conventional path.
Yeah.
Don't you find that in life? Is whenever you want to do something a little bit different, ultimately the advice comes back to you is like, play it safe, do the conventional thing. Well, he didn't. He decided to leave that very high-paying job in bonus season and walked away from it and ended up starting his little company in a garage. And it's fair to say it started very bootstrapped, but we're going to come back to that in just a few after the news headlines.
And France and Italy have announced plans to fly their citizens out of Niger following a military coup in the country. For more details on those stories, you can head to ARN's News Centre app.
All of Offscript is coming up next.
On the UAE's #1 talk radio station, Dubai 103.8.
Immerse yourself in the beauty of a nature reserve and discover local wildlife. Delight in adventure parks and splash pads. Unwind at community clubhouses and wellness centres. All this within a stone's throw of Al Wasl Plaza, the beating heart of Expo City Dubai. Live in Expo Valley, in the city we built for the world. And now, for you.
100 CZ Tax or email tax@creativezone.ae today.
Step into a world of captivating Arabian luxury at Jumeirah Dar Al Masyaf this summer, with benefits including daily aperitifs, personalized villa butler service, access to exclusive tuna pools, and savings on beverages for a full relaxation. Book a rejuvenating treatment at Talise Spa and receive another with our compliments. Your exceptional staycation awaits, with stays starting from 1,200 dirhams. Book now at jumeirah.com/dance vacation. T's and C's apply. Live your best life.
Around the marathon, I've been constantly sore. Started running and exercising again and just sore for weeks and weeks. Is this normal?
It's definitely normal to feel sore after exercise, and then as you progress and feel overload as you do more work, it's also normal to feel soreness. But if you're really concerned, it's worth going to get your iron checked in your blood. That too high or too low can sometimes to like a hypersensitivity specifically of muscle soreness.
Weekdays from 2 p.m.
If you do, then you know what it's like to wait. Say goodbye to waiting and say hello to your new RackBank credit card. Simply apply through the RackBank app and get your credit card in minutes. Plus, you'll also enjoy free streaming subscriptions this year and up to 1,000 dirhams joining bonus. So don't delay. Get rewarded every day with RackBank credit cards. Visit rackbank.ae/cards to know more. Conditions apply.
This is
On your Tuesday evening, and in how they made it, we're looking at one of the world's great underdogs, Jeffy Bezos.
And the thing is, when he was starting out Amazon, it was obviously so different from what it is today. Now that seems like a launch overload, doesn't it? If you're just doing a startup, you're getting quite a chunk of change to get going, but they really were very bootstrapped at the very beginning.
But for me, it's like yesterday. I was driving the packages to the post office myself, and hoping one day we could afford a forklift. And so for me, I've seen small things get big.
Yeah, he said that he used to be on his knees packing the books as well and putting things into, and initially that was what he was doing. He was setting up the business and he was being the labor at the same time.
So it was all out of his garage, literally.
Yeah.
It's not just a phrase.
In those early days, I mean, the first year they only had 5 employees.
How did people find out about it?
It's a good question, but in the early days, it was the idea of getting customers and marketing it in a way where they were starting to bring people in. This is how much they sort of valued that. There was a bell that would ring in the office every time someone made a purchase.
Whoa.
So if someone made a purchase, they'd ring a little bell. And everyone would gather around to see if they knew who the customer was.
Oh, wow.
Like if it was a friend of theirs or something.
Uncle Joe. Imagine that now. It'd just be an endless bell.
It'd just be like a ringing
Constant
tone.
frequency,
Constant.
yeah.
But it only took a few weeks before it was ringing often enough that they had to stop that little practice. So that means it took off pretty well right away. He initially had named the company Cadabra, but later changed it to Amazon after the Amazon River, and in part because just that the name begins with the letter A, which is at the beginning of the alphabet, so you kind of show up top, right?
Yeah.
Now, by the end of the decade, by the end of the 90s, Amazon really wasn't as promising as it once seemed. So despite the fact that they had revenues of $1.6 billion in 1999, they managed to lose $719 million. So they were spending a lot of money. And around the time of the dot-com bust, their stock went down to $6. People were calling it Amazon bomb. Yeah. He did finally turn profit in 2003, so about 9 years after it was founded, 7 years after they went public. So it took years and years and years of buying into this long-term vision before it was actually sort of yielding the results that they were looking for. So that all sounds charming enough as a startup story, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The thing is, it doesn't mean you'd want to work for him, because he's definitely been known as a demanding boss who can explode at employees. His biographer wrote that Bezos had suggested that Amazon should approach small publishers in the same way that a cheetah approaches a sick gazelle.
Oh, God.
Which is quite brutal. I mean, think that thought. Don't say it out loud, Jeff.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Please like so.
Yeah. Apparently someone who worked at Amazon would say that the executives have an absolute willingness to torch the landscape around them to emerge the winner. It's very competitive.
Yeah.
He also had a reputation for sort of exploding at his employees and asking questions like, does it surprise you that you don't know the answer to that question? Or simply, why are you ruining my life? Can you imagine showing up to Bezos' office, giving him some report? He's like, what is this? Why are you ruining my life?
I think you take that with a pinch of salt.
I don't know.
If he's renowned for doing that.
I guess.
It's water off the duck's
I
back.
don't know. I think that still hurts, though. It's a bit
You
much.
wouldn't want that venom aimed at yourself.
No.
You may expect.
Come on, if you take pride in your work and your boss is going, why are you ruining my life? I mean, that's a bit much.
Just trying to show you the report.
Yeah. But, we'll leave you on a positive note. Here's some good advice from Bezos.
Now 90. I want to have minimized the number of regrets that I have in my life. And most of our regrets are acts of omission. They're things we didn't try. It's the path